Hello, friends. I apologize for looking quite this goofy. I mean, maybe I look goofier in this when I don't have this like pilgrim's pilgrim's cap on or something. It's kind of like, huh? Maybe I can put it on. No, there's just no way to make this look right. So I'm not going to try. So I just wanted to touch base with you specifically, because I feel like I've been in some ways wandering around aimlessly. I'm sure life has an aim, and I'm sure that that arrow's been pulled and I'm shot forward and I'm heading in a direction, but I'm not clear what that direction is. But at least I have my kind of good luck shamrock hanky in which to blow my nose. Had a good experience today, and that experience was a result of having another challenging night. Challenging. This is the month of challenge, so the second month in the Mayan lunar calendar is the month of challenge. So we only have another week left, and I can't remember what month 3 is, but I know I'll remember it come month 3, and it says across the top of the Mayan calendar what it's the month of. It might be the month of creation or something, but this is the month of challenge. I don't know if it's because the Mayans said so, or I just have found it that way myself. Although I'm not alone. And even though I set the intention for every video that I make to be a healing experience for those who watch it, I think that's a good intention to have. And I get enough feedback, not a lot of feedback, but I get enough feedback to let me know that it's effective for some people, and that's good, because if one sets the intention for something, and then one does that with that intention, it's useful to get back some feedback that, oh, that was that for me. And other than that, I'm just meeting a whole bunch of people who energetically I really like. So I'm just thinking that these are all my people. It's not an ownership thing. It's just that everyone on the planet are my people. In that, I'm just one of the one. So if there's, as is said, and may be true, there's 8 billion of us, and we may not have acted as one up until this point, but past March, I'm going to say 24th, because I've been saying for 27 and a half years that the completion date is March 23rd, but I realized that wasn't true according to the Mayan calendar, that it was March 24th, so I was off a day, which isn't really bad, when you think about 27 and a half years that you're off one day. I'm not going to beat myself up about it, because I've spent a fair amount of time in my life beating myself up about various things. It's just I carried on the tradition of my father, who verbally, beat me up for whatever reasons his trauma had him do that for. But it's a time maybe to give up that habit of beating oneself up, and maybe create a new habit of giving ourselves smaller tasks that we can accomplish, and then rewarding ourselves in some way. Pat on the back is probably as much as we need. I don't need any sugar-coated anythings. But I can give myself pats on the back when I feel like I've been successful at something. So pat on the back today. We've lived in our house for 12 years. And the the bathroom doors have never closed right. So you could do some modification things and make it close, in which the bathroom door was, clicked and would stay put when a cat tried to open it. But frequently, if the cat wanted to see what you're doing in there and pushed on the door, it would just open. And if you were in there doing something that you didn't really want the world to see, even though they're not right outside the door, but it's still, there's a certain amount of privacy one prefers when it comes to whatever you do in the bathroom. That's your business, so to speak, pun intended. But anyway, both the upstairs and bathroom doors, they would close, but they wouldn't click. And I'm fairly functional. I've fixed them for periods of time where they would click, and then they just stop working again. Could be the moisture of being a bathroom and showers and baths and stuff and swelling of wood, whatever. They would stop working again. And so anyway, it was a small task. So today I did many small tasks. The first small task I did is a little bigger, but it was a small task. I've been talking about how much better my back functions when I do yoga in the morning. And the yoga that I do is from a book entitled Yoga for the Low Back. And the whole idea of all the yogic practices within the book is to strengthen your core muscles so that your back becomes stronger, more functional. And I've known that, I really resolved my low back issues through this yoga process. I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, and they were resolved for 3 or 4 years. Of course, I stopped doing the yoga practice as soon as I felt better, and then I felt better for years, so I just didn't go back to it. And then, probably three or 4 years ago, I did something that just set it back in motion again, and again, it was that kind of thing that it would be a problem for a week or two, a couple times a year, but it's a lot. And so anyway, I had determined that I was going to begin a yoga practice again, and I did, and then stopped. I did it for a day, stopped, did it for a day, stopped. And I decided that I wasn't going to begin a yoga practice again, one that I was going to stick to and do all that stuff. I decided that I was just going to do yoga today because it felt like a really useful thing to do today. So I just did it today, that's all. And I came out of the dream world feeling very challenged, emotionally challenged. I felt like there was a whole bunch of stuff that I was needing to let go of and process in the dream world. And when I woke up, I had processed a fair amount of it, but some of it was just sitting there unprocessed. And I just made the decision to just go downstairs, do some breath work, then do some yoga postures, and really clear the energy that it was hanging around in my field. And so I did. And really, the first part of it is the yoga breathing. It's pretty easy. And it was pretty interesting to note how quickly that cleared the field. And then I went ahead and did the yogic practice. And at the end, I could tell that my breath wasn't as deep as it oftentimes is. And I thought, that's usually due to contraction of energy. So I had the thought, well, if I'm going to do some Hawthorne-aided sound work, I'm going to record it. So I set up the computer, put it on my stepdaughter's wonderful artwork, and proceeded to, I talked about it too much, which is my nature, talk about too much, you know. So I talk about too much, about half the video, and then half the video is actually the sound healing work. And I thought after I was done, and I actually played it back for myself twice, and kept feeling layers of stuff clearing, which I had suggested in the video would happen, so it might have just been my intention, and then it worked for me. But anyway, after that, I felt like, whoa, I got a whole bunch of energy back. Now, I felt a lot better after the yoga breathing. I felt better after the yoga integration practice, and then I felt a lot better after the Hathor sound healing. So that was the way I started my day, was actually doing something good for myself. And I felt really good about doing that. And then I went on and noticed how focused my thoughts had gotten. And I began to organize my day based on things that I wanted to accomplish, one of which was fixing at least one of the bathroom doors so that it would stay closed when you're in there. Another thing that I wanted to do was we cook chicken for our cats. So we have 3 cats, and we get chicken, you know, non-GMO, you know, happy chickens running around, happy pastures kind of thing. No antibiotics ever, you know, no GMO foods fed to them so that you're getting all that toxic stuff through having them be your food if you were to eat them, or having the cats get that toxic stuff should it be their food, should they be eating it, which they are. They're the ones that eat it. So I cook, I boil their chicken, put it in a blender, I blend it up in a particular way, I put it in glass jars, put the lids on, and put it in the refrigerator. So, you know, you make 6 jars of chicken, and it lasts you a few weeks, maybe. Depends how much they like it. When it becomes kitty crack, you know, kitty chicken crack, and they're like demanding it, you know, it's so good. I'm hungry again. You just ate an hour ago. It doesn't matter. It's so good. And here it is, you know, kind of a paleo diet. You know, it's basically chicken. And I do add some pumpkin, you know, because that's supposedly good for your cat's digestive system. And then also there's like a little bit of berry powder, which is good for their urinary system. So it keeps it's worth the money, because it keeps us from taking we wouldn't do it anyway, but keeps us from taking our cats to the veterinarian when they have bladder infections. They don't get them. They used to get them before we found out about this berry powder and this urinary gold. I'm not sure what's in urinary gold, but it really is effective. There's really only the one cat that really had much in the way of issues, but they're gone. So food's a good thing. We feed our cats good food. We give them little extra special berry powders or whatever because we can, and it lasts forever. What you get is this is like, you don't use very much. A little teeny tiny kitty scoopful. You put it on top of their chicken that you're a servant. You get a cat, you're a servant. You're their cook. You clean up after their bowel movements, urinary tract stuff, and you do all this stuff because cats are gods, and they're very healing. Every cat is a healer, whether you believe it or not. And matter of fact, if you ever notice, you know, if you have a cat, first of all, you have to have a cat, and then you have like maybe a stomach ache. Maybe you wake up, like I've woken up in the morning and it's like, oh, my stomach's a little upset. My cat will get up and it'll stretch, you know, do that stuff and all the stuff they do, just get ready for the day, and then it'll walk over and it'll just start kneading that spot that's painful on my stomach. And I'm like, all right, there you go. I put myself out as the healer, but the reality is I'm just a front man for the healing combo, and I think the cat does the majority of the healing. When I do healing sessions, the cat's just working it. It's pretty cool. She's a pretty cool cat. I'm glad that we found each other. Makes my world much better. And I think her world as well. Okay. Yeah, you might wonder, well, where was he going with this? I would just want to touch base. And the last thing is, for those of you who are still listening, I want to remind you, and maybe if I put this video on the site, I want to remind you that the Collective Healing Conference is coming up. It starts on September 24th and goes to October 1st. It's organized by Thomas Hubel, who's my main teacher right now. And Thomas is a modern-day mystic and also a trauma therapist. He's got his doctorate in something. But he's a wonderful human being. And he's bringing, like, I don't know, there's somewhere between 40 and 60 presenters. And it's free. I mention free because that's a motivator for me. And you don't have to commit to 7 days. All you got to do is sign up. You just send in your email address, and then you'll get these things that just, give you your pass. It's an internet thing, so you don't have to travel. You don't have to spend any money to get anywhere. There's no gas charges. You're already paying for your internet, so it's just a win-win. And if you want more, if you find you really like it and you want to get in some interpersonal, interactive events, then you can pay an extra couple $100. And you can get in these things where you can actually write in questions and do that kind of stuff as well. But otherwise, it's free. And so even though it's free, I hesitated to do it because of the time commitment. And then I really had a conversation with myself. Do you want to be committed? As my wife said to me this morning, you've got to be one of the weirdest husbands on the planet. And then she complimented me after that. That was a compliment, but then she also complimented me saying, I bet Tim Wilde's wife feels the same way, that he's one of the weirdest people on the planet. And we are. I mean, we're here to shift reality. We think there's higher dimensional worlds coming, and we think that we can kind of open up our crown chakra and have light come in. I mean, and she said this after I was downstairs making sounds to assist people to let go of things, but primarily for me to let go of stuff. But I figure if I got this stuff to let go of, so do some of my friends, and maybe the sound will help them as well. But it entertained the heck out of me that she said, you got to be one of the weirdest husbands on the planet. And I wasn't even dressed like this. I actually didn't have any weird, hood ornaments. Okay. So I think, that covered most everything. I just wanted to touch base and kind of check in with you, see how you're doing, and let you know how I'm doing, and we'll just carrying on. It's 6.5 months from the completion of the 28-year cycle of cleansing. I'm looking forward to it. I'm finding for myself, even though emotionally, energetically, it's challenging this month, but physically it's slightly less challenging than it has been for the last year. Last year has been challenging, and it's not as challenging. I'd say it's 30% as challenging as it was for the last year, so that's good. We want to just keep getting it down. Eat well, drink lots of water, do your yoga breathing, or I do my yoga breathing, do my yoga exercises, make sounds that release energy, keep my energy flowing, and just behave as if the planet mattered to me. Okay, that's it, and I'll see you next time. And that's not bad. 20 minutes. Now let's go.